Hello and welcome back. You should be done with the spout on your teapot, as well as the handle and any appendages. It is now time to add the details to the face of your effigy teapot. There's a lot of different types of mouths, eyes, nose, ears, on all sorts of different animals. I'm going to show you three basic types of animal. A mammal with a snout, a bird, and a frog is an example of a reptile that kind of represent a lot of the variety that exists in our natural world. I'm going to tell you about things that you need to look for on your animal, things that you need to think about, but the most important thing that you can do is really study the face of your animal from different perspectives and problem solve as you're building. Look carefully and have fun.
We're going to talk facial details at this point. I have three different types of faces here. This is kind of a canine, bear, cat kind of face, something that has a snout and a forehead. This is a bird. It'll be one with eyes on the side. And then this is an example of like a reptile or a frog type of face. Now, the most important thing to note is no matter what animal you have, you need to look at images of your specific animal. All birds have different facial features. All reptiles and amphibians have different facial features, and the same with the world of mammals. So make sure that you have good images of whatever it is that you are sculpting. We are going to focus on things such as eyes, nose, mouth, and ears. So here is my mouse and his eyes. If you notice, I paid attention to the shape of the eye. There's a little bit of an eyelid there. Of course, the glaze makes a big difference. We also have nose and mouth details on this guy. We're going to start with our mammal here. This is a mammal with a snout, like a bear or a dog. I'm going to be doing mine based on a dog, even though I feel like this kind of looks like a bear's head right now. The dog's eyes are a little bit bigger than a bear's, so I feel like I'll be able to show you how to do this just a hair better. Now, a dog, a bear, a cat, a fox, all these types of mammals are predators. Predators tend to have the eyes just like we do in the fronts of their heads. Something that is prey, like this bird, and some birds are predators. They have their eyes up here like hawks and eagles, but birds that are birds of prey have eyes on the side. It has to do with their ability to scan a large expanse of environment for predators, and predators, the eyes in front of the head allows them to zoom in and focus on their prey. What I want to do on my dog here is dog's eyes, bear's eyes, cat eyes, all these types of eyes really are sunk into the head. They don't pop out of the head like a reptile or an amphibian. So what I'm going to do is I've built out my snout. He has a bit of a forehead here. The snout curves back like snouts do. Take some time to get that head shape correct. Don't be afraid to make that snout really come out. It's kind of square to the face. I'm going to use my thumbs to build kind of some eye sockets. And in those eye sockets, I'm going to build the eye of my animal. Okay, I've rolled two little balls of clay that are about the size of the eye of my animal. I'm going to flatten off the ball of clay, slip and score, and then I'm going to blend it into the face shape. Once I have those eyes in the socket, I'm going to kind of push them down. I don't want them to look round and bulgy. I want them to blend in. So I'm going to blend this back. So I've rounded that out as well. I want to kind of push them down into that space. Okay, so it's sticking up a little bit. Now you have two options here, and you kind of have to maybe fiddle around a little bit to discover which option you like best for your piece. Option number one is to do subtractive work, so carve in the details of the eye. Option number two is to do additive work, so to add things like the eyelid and other eye parts. I'm going to do a subtractive method here, so I'm just using the round end of this tool. I'm looking at an image for eye shape, and I'm pushing up and away where I want the eyelid to be around the eye itself. And what I'm noticing about the dog that I'm looking at is the eyeball itself is round, but the eyelid kind of makes a more lemon or football shape. So I rounded out the eyeball, and then I'm using this tool to kind of shape that eyelid around it a little bit more. And I'm also noticing on the animal I'm looking at that there's a little bit of a brow almost over the eye. So I'm going to build that in. I'd add a coil here. I would slip and score. And I'm going to build that brow in. There's my eye using the subtractive method around the eyelid and additive method with the eyebrow. Now on the other side, I'm going to show you how an additive method would work on this eye. Now I want you to note, since we're adding clay, this eye is going to look too large in comparison to this one, so keep that in mind. If you're going to do an additive method, you want to start with the eyeball smaller than you want the finished outcome. I've rolled a tiny little coil here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to place that coil around the eye, and again, I would use a little bit of slip here, not a lot because I don't want it to be smushy everywhere. But I'm going to build that coil around the eye in the shape of the eyelid. So I really should be looking a lot at my images right now to make sure I've got all those shapes correct. Then I'm going to blend the top of the coil back up and into the head on top and down and into the cheek on the bottom. Okay. You can see the nice eyelid, eyeball, the variation between, and that's using the additive versus subtractive method. And again, I would add the brow just like I did on this side. At this point, it's time to start adding other details to this animal. So an animal like this with a snout is going to have a nose and a mouth. And we can add the nose subtractively by just coming in, and you got to pay attention to the shape of the nose, kind of pushing the clay away from the nose a little bit here. You see how that just kind of pops out? Alternatively, you could build a little shape just like this and add it and do an additive method. Either way works. Then look at the details of your nose. Do they have little nostrils? If they do, what do those nostrils look like? Are they on the top and the front? Are they underneath? Some animals have a little bit of a divot on this type of nose on top or on bottom. So what are the details of the nose? Sometimes when my students make structures like these, they do a beautiful job, but they make it really subtle. Don't be too subtle in this stuff. We want to see these details. Okay, so there's his nose. Animals like this have a mouth that comes and kind of splits out of that nose. So it comes down and around and back. Oftentimes the lower part of the mouth is a little lower, so I'm going to carve that in just a little bit. And again, you really got to look at your animal and images of your animal to know where all this stuff sits. How far back does that mouth go? A dog's mouth is much longer than a cat's mouth. Its snout is much longer. Now I'm going to go in and kind of clean it up. I would fix it. I would smooth things out. Maybe I add a little tongue sticking out here. I would add, when I add texture, I would add the little whisker marks and things like that. But you can see he's starting to look happy, right? You can see that mouth from different angles. At this time, I would need to add ears. And honestly, I think my head would need to be a little longer for me to add ears, but I'll show you a couple different ways to do ears. So with an ear, we usually start with a piece of clay. I almost always start with it in a ball. And you're going to use a few minutes to work on a shape. And the dog that I am looking at has an ear that's folded over. So I'm working on making a twisted, folded over shape. Tricky thing with ears is they tend to be pretty thin, delicate things, and when we make clay too thin and too delicate, it breaks. So my trick for students is you can make the middle of your piece of clay thick, but if the edges are thin, it'll look like the whole piece is thin. So once I have the shape I want, I'm going to go in and carve out my edges. Okay, so there's my bent over ear. And I could put that on here, put on a coil, blend it in, and look at that cute little pup. Now if you've got ears that stick up, like you would find on a cat or a mouse or things like that, or certain types of dogs, we have a mini schnauzer and her ears stick up. I usually start by making the shape. They almost always curve forward. I'm just going to do kind of a triangular shaped ear. Okay, right, so I have a basic triangular shaped ear. It tilts out a little bit at the edge like many ears do. Take a look again at the shape of your animal. Then this ear is going to go on my guy right here. So I'm going to take a moment. Most ears bend in because they capture the sound and force it down and into the inner ear of the animal. So I'm going to bend that around my finger, kind of bend it in, take some time again to shape it. What you want to pay attention to is what angle does this ear sit on your animal's head? Does it tilt forward like this, to the side, in? Probably not in. So what angle does that sit on your animal's head? And that's what you want to match. So I would just be cleaning this guy up to finish him up. If my eyes are uneven, I'd spend some time trying to even it out, cleaning up where I've carved or blended clay, and I'd have a finished face. All right, the next type of eye we're going to look at is one that's a little more rounded. Our dog's eye, on this example, had more of a point like a human eye, right? Inside and outside points. This guy, my bird that I'm looking at here, has a very round eye. It's set into the head a little bit. It's not popping out. And I'm going to work on getting an eye socket in that shape. And I'm only going to build one eye on this guy. What I noticed about the eye socket is it's kind of long and lean. A shape I can't get with my fingers. My fingers are too big, so I'm going to use a tool to try to mimic this shape. All right, now I'm going to make a little eyeball, and it's truly going to be small. So here's my tiny little eyeball that's going to fit in there. But as I told you, this bird's eye doesn't stick out. And if I look at this from the front, do you see how that would be like a really bulgy eye? What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this ball of clay. It's the right size, but I'm going to cut it in half. I'm going to use half of this on this side, and I would use the other half on the other side. I would slip and score, add that eye right where I need it to be, and then I'm going to gently push down. I'm going to use this tool, and I'm just going to very carefully blend this eye into the space around it, trying not to lose that circle too much. Use the same tool to kind of smooth out the roundness of this eye and push it back and down a little bit so it's not quite so bulgy. Okay, once I have the right form, just like on the dog, I need to build in eyelids. And just like on my dog, I can either build it in with a coil and do additive work, or I can use my tool and do subtractive. I'm going to do subtractive on this, but truly it's your choice. I'm going to use this tool to build out the same types of shapes around the outside of the eye. Around the outside of the eye, the eyelid gets a little pointy, so I'm building in that pointiness there. And that's it. That's my bird eye. Or a rounded eye on the side of an animal. But again, you know, I'm just using the same methods I did with my dog. Where is the eye on the head? Okay, that's where I make my eye socket. How big is it? That's how large I make the sphere. Does it stick out or not? That tells me how much to cut off the back side of it. Once I've got it on and blended nicely and the right form, then I think about how I want to add my eyelid, using a tool to push the eyelid away or adding additive work. Now the beak of my bird, which would be my next step, involves the idea that the feathers overlap the beak a little bit. So I need to look at the shape of the beak where it enters the feathers. And I'm just going to push some clay kind of back and away from the beak, looking at how it interacts in the different parts of the beak. And then I would need to come in and do details on the beak. What I found with bird beaks is they tend to have these kind of crevices that push back to where their little nostrils are. So I made those little crevices in the beak, and then what I would do is I'd take my little needle tool, I'd run that up the crevice and kind of push it back into the beak to make it look like it goes back in and is truly a nostril of sorts. I would look for other variations in the beak structure as well. And then of course I need the edge where the top beak and bottom beak meet. And so I've got feather textures that I would need to build on this bird head eventually. Last but certainly not least, we have our frog friend. So I've made this head. I've noticed it's flatter on top. There's some angles on the side. Got kind of a rounded nose. And I'm gonna put two kind of biggish eyes on the sides of his head. Now a frog, of course, has really big bulgy eyes compared to most animals. Most animals, their eyes are pretty protected under brow ridges like we see with the dog, or on ourselves on the side here and tucked in like we see on this bird. But on frogs, their eyes are right out there. So I'm gonna make 2 balls of clay. I'm gonna slip and score and add those to the frog head. Now while I'm working on this, you can see me moving this in all sorts of different directions. So I can see what this looks like from the back, I can see what it looks like from the side, from the front, from the top. And every time I move it in a new direction, I'm analyzing what I'm seeing and I'm using my fingers to manipulate things. So right now I've got those nice bulgy frog eyes put in, and it's time to do the eyelids. And again, I have the same choice, make a coil or do subtractive work. On this guy, I'm gonna make a coil. And then I would take a look at an image, see where those eyelids sit. I would put the eyelids on. I'm going to put both eyelids on. You can see both these eyes at the same time. And if I put them on at the same time, I can make sure they're in the right place in relationship to each other. And I double check it from different angles. I make sure it's looking pretty good. And then I'm going to blend back. I use my fingers to finish that blending process and smooth it out. You also saw me maybe shape the eyelid a little bit with my fingers so it wasn't sticking out but curving around. If you've got an eyelid like this one got very square in the process, I'm going to need to take a clean tool and just kind of push it into its correct formation. All right, there are my frog eyes. Now my frog's face, the rest of his face is pretty simple. It's got a couple ridges that run from snout to eye. So I would do that by building in some coils. Then I would look at the shape of the mouth. I'm gonna draw a line for the mouth shape first. I notice the lower jaw is tucked in slightly from the upper, so I'm gonna carve this down a little. Then I'm going to carve in just a little bit just to get a nice shadow there. So you can see here where I've carved in a little, how you can really see that lip of the lip better than you can on this side where it's just carved. His nose is pretty easy. It's just 2 little holes right in front. I'm going to make sure they're deep enough and wide enough that when I glaze this, they don't disappear. So there's my frog face. Just needs cleaning up and finishing up. When you're building details on your animal's face, just like any other part of their body, you need to spend the time and spend the mental energy to look and analyze what you're sculpting and try to mimic it as close as you can. You've got additives tools and you've got subtractive tools. You can use your fingers to smooth. You're just spending time studying and mimicking what you see to the very best of your ability. Be detailed and be picky. Do your very best work.